great rhymes, preciseness,
every day I'm hustling.
rhymes,
Niggas
verses,
sing your
chaotic,
talk
brush.
so fat that bubble.
When I'm using the brush,
Hashtag with the
compared to
house
when I'm
in the
using
bubble.
my fine
From the
thing.
open doors, I'm like,
Straight
just
precision,
kick it in.
and it's like
Outside,
clash.
I never
too. I
tried to
wanted to
fit
show
in.
like
Running up and down the street. with
those
wild
things
niggas
versus each
brain.
other, like the
So
brush
I guess
versus the
that
pen.
makes me a
That's what I
loser.
wanted to
Life
show.
looking harder than a Uber. Ever since.
Where you get that name?
The name Build Destroy is in the supreme mathematics. Each number is like each number means something. Like 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3 is understanding, and number 8 is build or destroy. And I wanted to deal with the number 8 because the book is based on 8 of my mini comics. So I'm going to be using number 8. It's 8 different mini comics that make up the collection of this book. So I was thinking like build, destroy. You know what I mean? Number 8. That's what I was thinking of.
Right. That joint. Where the book at? Whew, man. That thing is crazy. That joint is dope. What's the name in this book? The squirrel part?
Yeah. Actually, this squirrel park in here is pretty cool. This squirrel park. We're robbing for lives. They go and get 211 in the store. And they go to Salt and Pepper Deli. That's a store near Clark's Park in Philly.
So that's what this is? Clark Park?
Squirrel Park is Clark's Park.
So you switched it up. Why you switched the name? What does that mean? What does this park mean to you with this whole story?
Well, Robbing for Lives is based on me and my friend George. And George used to call Clark Park Squirrel Park. That's what he used to call it. I don't know why he called it that, but that's what he called it. So I called the comic Squirrel Park since it's based on me. But also Squirrel Park is it's like in my stories there's a place called Slumville, and that's where the depressed punks go when they die. And Squirrel, it's an alternate universe to Philadelphia.
No.
So in our universe, Clark's Park is Clark's Park, but in the Slumville universe, it's called Squirrel Park. So it's like they're different. And Rob is alive, and Rob is dead. You can see each other.
What you mean she's rich?
But in this squirrel part, they go and get, because they both alcoholics, so they like to drink some of that and still reserve. And they go there. And in this one, they see Jesus. You know, he asked him about how much food stamps he got. Is the food stamps turn on yet? He was like, no, turn on the 10th. And then God comes from the sky and shows him this book. Ancient Tales Stolen and Whitewashed. The King James Version. And then, and that's Jesus. But then they got a friend named White Jesus. And he comes by. And he's like, yo, who's this dude? And he said his name is Jesus. And then he like, no, I'm Jesus. So now they about to fight. It was going to be black Jesus versus white Jesus. That's that story. That's the only Squirrel Park story I got in there.
Right. So that's once again that's going back to build and destroy.
Right. And I got a lot of that. I got like man versus woman. I got black versus white. I got a lot of stuff like that in here. So that's why it's build, destroy. You know what I'm saying? Like.
And what make you come up with those themes when you doing your comics? Why that? What's the reason for that kind of?
I don't know, man. Like, I draw what I want to see in comics. Specifically, I draw what I want to see in black comics. Like, I just feel like with black comics, I just wish they would explore certain things a little bit more than they do. I just wish it wasn't all this surface level. Like in some black comics I see, it's like surface level. It's like they'll take the template of a white superhero and then add a black face on it, and it's surface. Like it's just surface, and they don't really get like. I just wish they got deeper. I wish they dealt with the subconscious of the African American experience and mind state. I wish they got deeper. And so I draw what I wish I could see in a comic. It was specifically what I wish I could see in black comics. You know what I mean? Like I just wish I would see stuff like that. I don't even think I draw it as well as some other people would draw it, but I just have to see it. I want to see it. You know what I mean? So I draw what I would be a fan of. You know, so that's why I dive into those types of scenarios. Like, you know what I mean? I may draw, I take things like homelessness, welfare, police brutality, alcoholism, depression, and I make that that's a palette from where I'm going to work from, and then I put it in a crazy fantasy kind of world. You know what I mean? And I just wish more comic artists would do that. I don't dislike them or nothing like that, but I just wish that's just something I would like to see. So I draw what I would like to see. That's the type of stuff that I would like to see. I want to see a crazy world using black culture and black mythology and poverty and stuff like that in a crazy kind of world. That's what I want to see. So that's what I try to draw. And I sketched this bridge and that building in the back, which is the post office. Well, it's not the post office anymore, but in my story, I made that post office. I made that welfare office. Right. And the guy is running away, and the poles right here, they got the lights on it. I made that like loudspeakers. And they announced that the guy's food, he don't have no more food credits, and that's against the law. And, you know, he can't stand being on welfare. He can't stand society. He can't stand himself. So he jumps off the bridge, kills himself. Jumps off the bridge with a canister of a 500-pound septic tank. Throw it into the river attached to his leg. And but that's where I got it from that bridge. Because I walk on this bridge a lot, and a lot of times I'm thinking about like my own problems and having problems with myself, having a relationship problem, or having a problem with society in general. And you know, and then I found myself just walking, like looking down, looking at the river, and being on the bridge, just in my own thoughts. So this is just I wanted to put that in my story. because this is a place I go a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this. This is called Powerless. And this is about a man. This is in the year 3025. It's in the future. And the police, they got New World Order on it, you know what I mean, on their thing. And in this world, they announce how much food credits you got on your access card, on your food stamp card. And if it's getting low, you in a violation. And they got to come and get you. But this guy is so depressed about being on welfare as a grown man, he'd rather kill himself and throw himself over the 30th Street Bridge because he don't like being on welfare. And he makes it, you know what I mean? Because in a welfare state, it makes grown men feel like children because they like being taken care of and stuff like that. So he'd rather die and he throw a 500-pound septic tank over the bridge and drown himself in the river. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Like, I'm not telling people, yo, welfare exists, and you know, and this is what happens to these people and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say, oh, these poor people on welfare. I'd rather take the welfare and the food stamp thing and make a dramatic story out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't take it anymore. And usually I have people kill themselves in the joint. But like,
is that one of the reasons that you have them kill themselves? You trying to show?
I draw it because that's how I feel.
Right.
Like, I feel like, and I drew this this 30th Street. That's a lot of times where I would go. I would go to 30th Street Bridge, and I'd be looking over at the river, and I'd be thinking about some problems I had with a woman, or I'd be thinking about the fact that, dang, I'm on welfare, I'm homeless. You know what I mean? When am I ever going to like be a successful artist, or when am I going to ever have a real life? And I think stuff like that. And sometimes the thoughts come in, dang, I should just jump in there. But of course, I don't really do it. But I get all types of dark suicidal thoughts and stuff like that because I feel like I'm not what I should be as a man. Right. And so so when I draw guys killing themselves, that's because that's how I feel. Right. But if I draw it, I'm not going to really do it because it's like, I can see myself. It's like I'm making a mockery of that kind of thought.
And that goes right to this therapy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So I try to, this is a feeling of how I feel in therapy. I feel like I'm in a cage, and then my therapist is telling me, everything's all right. You're a good guy. Yet they somehow make me feel like I'm some kind of animal trapped in a cage. You know what I mean? So that's what the therapy thing was about. You know what I mean? And I try to deal with my dark feelings around therapy, around welfare, around alcoholism, and all types of stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. It leads into that. Yeah. So that's what I try to draw about.
Man.
Because that's the stuff that I know. Right. I just draw what I know. As a baby, mama made me home-cooked meals. Now I microwave it or I throw it on the grill. Chicken flavored ramen noodles, tuna in a can. If I had someone to share it with, I'd be a happy man. Everybody got somebody to love except me. I'm S.A.D. Gorilla, lonely as a pony in a family of gorillas. My upstairs neighbor, Mrs. Cooper, super fine, smiles every time she see me. She's easy on the eye. Ask her if she wanna get together for a date. She say, no, I got a husband, go away. Hey, everybody got somebody to love except me. I'm S.A.D. Gorilla, lonely as a pony in a family of gorillas. Since my baby left me, every day for me is hell. Been bitter until I discovered how to love myself. The moral to the story, if you didn't understand, lose a lover, find another in your hand.
To live.
This another one about a guy going to kill himself, but he killing himself for the reason of, you see, he got got this girl, that's his girlfriend, but he feel like he treated like a house pet. He a house pet. That's why he look like an animal.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask you. Is that what all your themes and characters? Because
Yeah,
you got
I'm always-
Donald Duck. What's the other one? Fish Boy. All these animal / human characters. Is that part of the?
That's how I feel. I feel like, you know, like this is he in a relationship with this woman, but he feel like a house pet. You know what I mean? He's a house pet because, you know, he's at home. He's a house. I got another story called House Husband.
Go
And
ahead.
like I don't have it in here.
Okay, but go ahead.
But he's like a house pet. He stays at home while she's out at work, actually working and stuff like that. And he's just at home, drinking, smoking cigarettes, looking at porn, and just living like a waste. And he feels like that makes him depressed. That he's good for nothing. Like I say here, you probably can't relate. Or maybe you can. At the young age of 36, Rupert was already a sexually challenged, alcoholic, stay-at-home, playhouse husband on the verge of homelessness and divorce. So he about to get kicked out. But even long before this tragedy, Rupert loathed his pathetic existence. It was just too much to live. He can't handle life because he feel like a loser and a bum, and his girlfriend is working and stuff like that. And and in this, I make him literally a house pet because she put his food on the ground and he got to pee on the toilet paper. But it's his girlfriend. And then I'm also dealing with the dangers of alcohol with this because he don't know what else to do. He say he can't take it anymore. And the only thing he can think to go to is his alcohol. But he's so tired of being his only choice, he kills himself. His wife comes home and he's hanging on a electric cord.
Yeah.
Because these are thoughts I really think, you know what I'm saying? So I put it, and then I deal with fantasies. So this is the fantasy, this is called Over the Bulletproof Partition.
What is that about?
This is about like a dude, like another, I like drawing bums. Because that's how a lot of times how I
These
feel.
are the coolest bums I ever seen.
So he got a romantic relationship with a Chinese store, with the lady in the Chinese store. So this is my fantasy of, dag, I be going to the Chinese store and like that. What if something like a relationship would happen between me and the lady behind the It's like it seemed like we not even supposed to. We separated by this plexiglass, and we not even supposed to be like, you know what I mean? Because when you go into the Chinese store, you talking to them like trash. They talking to you like trash. So it seemed like that's a relationship that won't even happen. But they find love.
That's interesting. That's a different take. Because when you go in these Chinese stores, it's always that battle between just like
you feel like
it's
they look at you. You
Right.
feel like when you go in there, you feel like they look down on you.
right.
And you think they look at you like some animal or something, and it don't help being behind a window,
Right.
Because that make it really seem like they like, and that's what they got. They got the bulletproof glass because they protecting themselves from you,
Right.
So it's like you some kind of animal. So when you got like that, they put up the bulletproof glass because they protecting themselves from these fearful black people, and then you got police walking around like it's a police state, and they trying to keep you at bay too. It you know what I mean? It drives you crazy. It's just
Right.
like, you know, dad, am I good enough even for her?
Right.
And like, you know, I wanted him to be like he get her. Like, you know, he loves her.
Right. You took a straight ghetto, unparalleled, but so parallel. Yeah, I mean, because even if you look at MC Breeze with his song, it's similar to that too. But
Oh, yeah.
he did it with a song. I mean, discombobulated, boobulated, but
Oh, that
it's
I gotta
funny
hear
how
that.
the minds are the same in different times. You know, that's crazy. But that's just me.
I gotta hear that song.
Yeah.
Fuck that, powder puff crap, this tough rap. You get slapped till you handicap, face fucked by bandersnatch. Pass the coffee, hold the splendor, so I can toss this body out the open window. You serve as no contender, so surrender. We use the sheet of Kim ninja technique, so fucking creep. So remember, dim mock to your shin chops. You pause for like 30 seconds, then drop. We got it hemlocked. The Black Mac Ronin, run through jobs like factotum. You lash on him, he grabs scrotum. Twist till you scream like a baby bitch. We aims to get train gravy rich. To cause you bodily harm, makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. On the reels, I get sex thrill from a homicide kill. Drip drip from blood spill, lick lips like LL. He's a violent, angry maniac involved in rap sport. Use a Pollock painting on the asphalt. Fucking with that pro-black rap snuffleuffocate. Trash knuckleheads till his knuckles rip. Alhamdulillah, I come where you stay. Power drive your head through your neck with all due respect. So what you talking late? I got doctors on the board, said he was born motherfucking crazy. Post-traumatic stress plus depressant, but mostly yo, we socio-pathetic. So forget it and kill the greasy stare. You want a fair square, meet me here. I lay you out like an easy chair. You in your batch of hoodlums, I'm in your master bedroom, getting max headroom from your lover, motherfucker.
How that sound? You niggas rockin' with that backyard record sound. Simmer down. How that sound? When I hear the words of crown.
How does your music and your art coexist together? How does it? Do they?
Because
is it separate?
Yeah, because I write from the same. I write in a depressionism kind of way too. I write from that same point. I write from a dark place,
Right.
and I draw from a dark place. So it's the same thing.
Right.
Like the music I do.
What's some of the music that you do, and how did you come up with that? Is it similar base? I mean, it sounds like it's from the same way you come up with your art.
It's the same thing.
Like-
It's the same exact thing. You know what I mean? When I'm writing a song, I like to come from like basically like I get inspired by like Wu-Tang Clan. Like that's like
Yeah, definitely.
my favorite group of all time.
You can tell. That's what I'm about to say. Build and Destroy has that same, you know.
Oh yeah, right. So like that's like my favorite group of all time.
What is it about Wu-Tang Clan? And
Cause like the Wu-Tang, like they I think they're the best group ever because they came out with a group album, right? That was dope. You know what I'm saying? It was about kung fu and street life and all types of stuff. That's their first album. And then they split off and did solo albums. But they didn't break up. And usually when people, when rappers, like you got like Lauryn Hill, and it was the Fugees. But when she did a solo project, that was it. She went solo. And Wyclef went solo, and Prize went solo. He didn't have the Public Enemy crew working on it. But
who's that? Who? Say that again.
Chuck D.
Okay.
Like Chuck D had did a solo album in the 90s. And when he made his solo album, it wasn't Flavor Flav on it. It wasn't Bomb Squad making the beats. It was just his solo album. It was just Chuck D. And when Q-Tip and Phife Dawg did solo albums, it didn't sound like Tribe Called Quest albums. It sounded like their solo albums. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is that when Wu-Tang did solo albums, they sounded like Wu-Tang albums. Like they sounded like they still had RZA making the beats. They only featured their people. And they sounded like Wu albums. You know what I'm saying? They didn't sound like this is Method Man's album, this is Ghostface. They sounded like they continued. And then they came back together to do Wu Forever. And that was 7 albums. The first one, then Method Man, then Old Dirty Bastard, then Raekwon, then Jizzle, and Ghostface. Then they did another group album. And I just thought that was so dope, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they never split up. They always just stayed with that sound, with RZA's beats. And I just think that's just real dope. And what I also like is the elements. Like, they mix their culture. They mix, like, it's a certain culture, street culture, urban culture, drug culture, mixed with kung fu type culture. like based on their inspiration of movies and stuff they used to watch. And that's what I like about them, that they do that. They put it, but they do it from a subconscious level, like I was saying before. They don't do it. RZA will make a beat and use a movie that he likes, that they all probably used to go and watch, and he'll put that within the beat. They're not doing a rap song talking about it like, oh, this was the Kung Fu guy, he did this and this and that. They use it as metaphor, they use it as a palette to just go wild and express street life. And it don't even make sense in a way. But like, and that's, you know, and I got inspired by that. And that's what I try to do. I try to use the things that I was inspired by, the culture that I live in, and my experiences, and try to make a comic book out of that. Because that's exactly how that's what they did. And I'm inspired by them in terms of making music and in terms of making comics. Right. They're a big inspiration for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's on the kitchen. It's in the kitchen table. That's that.
What song is this?
It's called Fast Joint. That's the song.
Outsider, I never tried to fit in. Running up and down the street with my leader friends. So I guess that makes me a leader. Life looking harder than a movie. Harder than a roof.
Wake up in the morning, yawning, hungry as fuck. Smoking cigarettes with a brown silk butt. Look up at the ceiling, later throw it smut. Drinking till I nap in a styrofoam cup. Bullshit in the drill, sitting flat on my butt. Something in me telling me that I should get up. Something in me telling me I shouldn't give up. Something must not know me cause I'm lazy as fuck. I do what I want. I do what I want.
I give these out to
Once upon a time, many years ago, past life as stories for my motherfucking blow. Not a chef, but I went through Hell's Kitchen. Recipes homemade, just up the fucking bitchin'. Main ingredient, fire, water,
when I
and
sell
smoke.
Build a Storybook,
Life
this
made
CD
my
comes with
arteries
this CD comes with the book. And I feel like it's sort of a soundtrack to the
This is a soundtrack to that book.
It's not officially a soundtrack, but I feel like it's sort of a soundtrack to the book. You know what I mean? That's why I give this CD with the book. You know, along with the print, the Brown Duck print. So like, because I feel like, because the songs that we make, Backyard Records, we make songs from the point of view of a black bum. That's the point of view we come from, and that's the point of view I come from with my artwork. So that's why I feel like this is like if you look at the picture, this is a typical day of me and Chris walking through Kensington. You know what I mean? Like we walking, Chris will notice some girl. She could be butt ugly or she could actually look good. He gonna look either way. And he just be like, damn, look at her. And then at me, I'm looking for cigarettes to find on the ground. And you know, that was a typical day, you know, in Kensington.
You get slapped, see you handicapped, face fucked by bandit snatch. Pass the coffee, hold the splendor, so I can toss this
So I feel like
body
that's a
out
good.
the window.
The music is a good
Service no
representation
contender,
for the
so
book.
surrender. We use this
Why these cats always hate on me? Cause I talk about science and never rap about weed. I never liked the hood. So fuck it to the max. Never liked being a future slave selling crack black, but just for the map. Mommy, shake your ass crack so brother man can tap that. But in my damn mind, I know that line was bull crap. Blast me off the fucking planet, cause I can't fucking stand it. Can't stand this shit.
That's what we be dealing with, man. We dealing with frustration. Like he said, I never liked the hood, so fuck it to the max. Like we just dealing with frustrations of living in the hood. Like when you got like rap, right? You got rap music, and it's all types of people that come from all types of different points of view, and they come from the point of view of the drug dealer, or the baller, or the revolutionary guy, and we try to come from that point of view of the low life. You know what I mean? Like the welfare recipient, grown man, alcoholic. You know what I mean? That's not selling drugs. That's not working. That's not, you know what I mean? That's trying to get by on his own art guy. You know what I mean? And such people exist. You know what I mean? Like, so those people exist. And we come from that point of view and dealing with those frustrations and our own little problems. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's the point of view we come from, and that's the point of view I come from in my art. You know, it's that's our culture. And with this, we call it slum rap. You know what I mean? We call this slum rap. I was just saying what I forgot to say was a big inspiration for me doing comics was Brother Man Comics by Big City Comics by the Sims brothers.
Yeah, them joints. What was it about them joints?
It just was the most unusual thing I ever seen, man. It was like the artwork was dope. And that's one thing I kind of got from them that I try to get from them is putting certain details in my comics. I get that from them. I definitely get that from them. Like having certain street details, like drawing the they used to draw the buses and the cities and all the little inner city details and stuff like that. And I try to do that. I like it to look kind of claustrophobic. And that's what they did. And the Brother Man was that's like one of the best comics I ever read. And like I just feel like black comics got to that height. And I hate to say it, but I just feel like they ain't go no further. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see how you can read that comic as an artist and not get inspired to like do some real creative. I mean, they took like the graffiti art and mixed it in with the comics and took a whole like kind of hip hop culture and mixed it in the comics and made the black superhero. And the villains they had seemed like real people you would really see in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like that whole era actually. When that comic came out, that whole era was a lot of cool stuff coming out. You know what I mean? You had like, you know, a lot of cool black movies coming out with Eddie Murphy, and you know, you get Meteor Man, Blank Man. Yeah, that was culturally. I think a lot of good stuff was coming out at that time. And another comic artist, I don't know his name. I think his name is Raw Dog Mac. He was out in the '90s. He still do stuff now, but he did a comic called Real Deal. That's another really good black comic that I like. He's out in California. You get what? Like doing stuff like this, like drawing all the details in the Chinese store, showing the Scott tissue and the steel wool and rolls in a glass. You know, showing all the details, blunt wraps and all the stuff behind the windows, and then drawing the streets. You know what I mean? That's a direct inspiration from the Brother Man comics. You know what I mean? I used to love the way they draw neighborhoods and stuff like that. And my brother Merv. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that from him too, because he would do that. He would draw stuff and draw like ghetto scenes and draw every little detail. You know what I mean? Because it's so much. It's so much going on in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Like when you in the hood, and you on like Lancaster Avenue or somewhere like that, it's so much going on, man.
Yeah.
You got guys trying to sell you stuff.
Yep.
You got guys selling drugs. You got the women look real good. You got the woman with babies. You got trash on the ground. You know what I mean? You got the barbershop happening. You got all types of stuff. Artists walking down the street with his painting.
Mm-hmm.
It's all types of stuff going on at once. You know what I mean? And when you're in the city, in the inner city and stuff like that. So like, you know, how can you not draw all that stuff? You know what I mean? How could you not want to capture everything? You know, so, and they did that. You know what I mean? They definitely did. They did it the best. I don't think nobody did it better than them. And they captured everything. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and that's how it is. It's like it's overpopulated. It's like so many things going on. Graffiti on the buses, on the trains. It's so claustrophobic. There's so much stuff going on. And so you want to capture everything. That's what I try to do. You know what I mean? With some of this stuff. Like that's all claustrophobic type stuff, trying to fit everything in. You know what I mean? Don't do that. It was when I started doing music with George that I started to write a little differently. So I used to write and do raps with Mike, who was rapping at first. He was the first lyricist on here to do the hook on this song. And we would do songs, and I was just doing stuff. I was just kind of copying different styles that I would hear. And me and George had not seen each other for years. And when I seen him, he was playing the guitar. He had learned how to play the guitar. He was writing songs. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, yo, I'm doing songs too. And I let him hear my raps. And I used to get so much praise for the way I rap. But he didn't like it. He didn't like none of my raps I had. And he thought they were corny. And I was like, what? I wasn't used to hearing it. I was used to people liking my stuff. So he thought my raps was corny because he said that I was coming from a perspective that wasn't real. Because he said, man, you talking about you get girls and you get money. He's like, man, you ain't got no money. And you always crying about Shalana all the time. You know, a girlfriend at the time. He's like, you don't get no girls. You always keep crying about the same girl all the time. Why you don't rap about that? Why you don't rap about, being in the shelter or like being, or not having nothing? Why you gotta act like you got something? So he got me to start writing from a real perspective. Story called. That's him? Yeah, that's Vagabond John. And the name of this story is Anything Helps. He's just dealing with homeless again. But he on the run. This is still the year 3025 is in the future. And he and the police in Philadelphia are SEPTA cops. And he's on the run because it's illegal to be homeless in this future. It's illegal to be homeless. And they in the crime being broke, just being poor is illegal. And the crime is punishable by incineration. You get incinerated because you're poor. And he's trying to just run home to get to this girl just to tell her this, you know what I'm saying? That he's using some iPhone. Please bring me some money at Clark Park. Love you. And I'm gonna tell you, like, this was based on, like, sometimes I make a comic and all I want to do is focus on one part. Like with this was the main part I wanted to focus on. And I'm not even really doing it. This was based on me being in the park in Clark Park. But I still gotta do it. And I was out there waiting for. I'm just out in the park, and I was just waiting for my girl to get home. I wanted her to get home so I have some place to go and not have to be out in the street. I wanted a place that was safe for me to just drink and just, So I was waiting for her. And there was this other dude sitting in the park waiting for this girl to get home. And he was asking,
fuck that, powder puff rap, this tough rap. Get slapped till you handicapped. Face fucked by bandit snatch. Pass the coffee, hold the splendor. So I can toss this body out the open window. You serve as no contender, so surrender. We use the sheet of Kim ninja technique, so fucking weak. So remember, dim mop to your shin chop. Pause for like 30 seconds.
That used to be
then
the
drop.
worst house.
We got it hemlock. The Black Mac
Called
rolling.
Clarkville now.
Jobs like
The worst
fat
house.
totem.
That's where we would
You
go and
lash
get beer.
on him, he grabs scrotum, twist till you scream like a baby bitch. We aim to get trained crazy rich. To cause you bodily harm, makes me feel
I don't know if
warm
they were
and fuzzy
Haitians or
inside.
Jamaican.
On the reels, I get
Then
sex
that's the
thrill
green
from a
line.
homicide kill. Drip, drip from blood spill, lick lips like LL. He's a violent, angry maniac involved in rap sport. Use a Pollock painting on the asphalt. Fucking with that pro-black rap snuffleuffocate. Trash knuckleheads still Alhamdulillah, I come where you stay.
That's
Power
Bella.
drop your head through your neck.
She part of a story called Cry Baby Crazy
So
Baby.
what you talking late?
And,
I got doctors
yeah.
on the board, said he was
That's it.
born motherfucking crazy.
That's Dopey Danny
Dramatic
Doofus, the
stress
dedicated
must
big
be
fan.
But mostly, yo, we socio-pathetic. So
He in the
forget it.
story
And
is
kill
just
the greasy
named after
stare.
him.
You want a fair square, meet me here. I lay you out like an easy
That's
chair.
Freddie
You in your
Freddie
master-
Farnsworth,
I'm in your master
the
bedroom
fallible
getting maxed
the fallible Freddie Farnsworth.
Motherfucker.
That's Goody Goodfoot. He's in a story called Goody Goodfulness. That's Vagabond John. He in a story called Philadelphia Future. That's Rob from Rob and Fala's Squirrel Park. He's from Squirrel Park. That's Unemployed Boy from The Impoverished Adventures of Unemployed Boy. That's Falaz from Squirrel Park with Rob and Falaz. That's Down a Duck. He's from Down a Duck comics. Suicide Susie from Slumville. That's Gary the Ghoul. He from the stories Punk. Ricky Rat. Just Ricky Rat. Rocky is from Crybaby Crazy Baby with Bella. And that's Punk Princess. She from the story called Punk Dreamer. And that's the cover. This is the profile cards. And in the back of the profile cards is stats. So you see the subject name is Bella. Her sex is she a John. Full name is Isabella U. Beaumont. Isabella Umbrella Beaumont. Crybaby Crazy Baby. You see her vitals, she not dead yet. Her cause for not being dead yet is she a party goer. Her job is a laundry attendant. Her home is Kensington, Philadelphia. Her diagnosis is bipolar. The meds she take is Ritalin and Abilify. Her brain level is stupid. And her notes, she's a domineering drama queen. So all of them is either stupid, smart, genius, or other. I don't know what other is. I just put that on there. And their sex is either a John or a bull. I probably spelled that wrong, but that's their sexes.
Everybody got their own way that they spell bull.
Yeah, I know. Jerry spelled it B-O-A-H.
And I spell it B-O-A-L.
Oh, okay, yeah, let me see.
Yeah, I've seen it so many different ways. B-A-W-L. I've seen so many different ways. How'd you spell it? I ain't seen it.
I spelled it like a bull, like an animal, like a bull.
Oh, okay. I seen it spelled that way too.
I just was trying to think of a way to say it where if somebody else said it, it would sound like it. But
Right. I think that's what everybody trying to think. Well, how can
how
we?
can you, yeah, right. How can you make it sound like? Yeah.
Right. That's
How can you
interesting.
get somebody else to say it right?
Right, because only Philly people. Well, I heard 50 Cent actually finally got it.
Oh, he said it.
He said it. Well, he let it be known as from Philly, but he said it right. You know, that's the bull. And it's funny because that's what makes you realize, like, oh, now I understand how when people from different countries, they come
Right,
over
and they tell you you're not saying something right.
yeah,
Right.
and it's the same kind of thing. Like, nah, you ain't saying it right. You know.